All right, everybody, welcome to the show. As I said, we have Rip Esselstyn joining us today. What's up, Rip?
Hey, Corey, lean green fighting machine daddy-o.
That's me, man. Thank you. Thank you so much for being on. I know you're a busy guy, so I always appreciate you taking a few minutes just to talk to us about what's going on in the Engine 2 world. As everybody knows, I'm a huge fan of the Engine 2 line of products, and there's a lot of updates since we talked about, God, it's like a year and a half ago. And
Yeah.
I wanted everybody to hear from you what's going on. First, let's start with this 7-day rescue group. Talk to me about the success and the drive of the people that are involved in this group, Rip. It has just grown like crazy.
Well, we started it last January 1st, right, as a support group for the Engine 2 7-day rescue diet, the book, right? Yeah, there it is, baby. And yeah, we've just seen some really nice steady growth in that private Facebook group. We're approaching 23,000 people in that group. And, you've been a great supporter of it, and you helped us out when we launched it, right? Doing a little interview with us. But it is the most supportive, encouraging, positive, upbeat group you'll ever see. We have no haters. If we get any spammers or haters, we immediately kick them out of the group. We're very, very diligent about that. And we have several of the Engine 2 coaches that are in there every day answering people's questions. But it's really become very self-supportive in that everybody's helping each other out. I mean, people, they bear it all, right? I mean, it's a great place to get real and to get honest with everything that's going on your Plant Strong journey. And as you know, the 7-day rescue is, we've tightened the screws down from the normal Engine 2 diet plan. We're really limiting the amount of overt fatty plant-based foods we're consuming. We're really, limiting the amount of nuts. We're not doing any nut butters. The only nuts that we want people eating are walnuts, and we want to limit that to a small handful a day. We're not doing olives. When it comes to avocados, depending upon what your weight goals are and your health goals are, you may want to remove them entirely. Otherwise, we don't want you doing more than really a quarter to half an avocado a day. We're not doing tofu. We're not doing tempeh because they're all just inherently too high in fat. We're really being mindful about label reading and making sure that our sodium is in a 1-to-1 ratio with the calories are in a 1-to-1 ratio with the milligrams of sodium. We want to make sure there's no added sugars in the first 3 ingredients of any packaged, boxed, or canned foods we're eating. And we really got to be mindful about looking for how much fat are in these products. But, you're really focusing on fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, limited amounts of the nuts and the seeds. And you're following the 7 pillars. You're not drinking your calories. You're reading labels. You're moving and grooving a little bit every day. It's amazing what happens in just 7 days.
Yeah, folks. I mean, if you're in a place where you're not really sure if a plant-based diet is for you, or you know that you need to make a change, right? Your doctor has told you that you need to make a change, and you just don't know where to start. I always send people to the 7-day rescue group, 7-day challenge group, because if you can do something for 7 days, chances are you can do it a little bit longer, and then hopefully a little bit longer, and then you can make it a lifestyle, because that's what this is all about. Am I right, Rip?
Totally, totally, totally. And yeah, and the goal is, I mean, we don't want people to do this for 7 days and then go back to whatever they were doing. We want you to do it for 7 days, and then hopefully you'll realize how painless this was, how effortless this was, how amazing you're feeling, how, my God, I lost 4.5 pounds in 7 days. My blood pressure came down 10/5. My cholesterol came down 25 points. My LDL, the lethal, came down 18 points. I mean, what's there not to like about this?
Yeah.
Because you have everything to gain and nothing to lose except for, weight and cholesterol and all that other stuff. So yeah, on day eight, the hope is that you will continue down this path, this journey. And if not, your eyes will have been opened up to a whole new kind of way of life that you didn't know was there. And I guarantee, you'll you'll be forever changed in just 7 days, right? And then you decide what to do with it.
And again, really supportive group, guys. Get on Facebook, check it out if you haven't already. We're going to talk a little bit more about it in a second. I want to talk about some of these products, Rip, because it started off as a couple.
I got some lying around right here too.
Show us some of your faves. Go ahead. You can run off camera.
Well, I just want to show you some of the newest ones that
that's what I want to know.
That are actually out right now. So I'm going to dart out and I'll be back. Ready?
Okay.
So, woo! So here we go. Right. So we've reformulated our pasta sauces. And so we have a kind of a new and improved organic tomato basil pasta sauce. It's now organic and it's now $1 cheaper. So instead of $5.99, it should retail for $4.99.
Wow.
Amazing, right? Amazing.
Huge.
And then we actually scrapped the red bell pepper marinara. I loved it, but it just was not selling like we hoped. And so we've replaced that with this organic Firehouse kale.
Put it in the middle for me. Put it where your face is. There you go. Yes.
With this organic, Firehouse kale. It's got a little bit of sriracha in it, so it's lives up to the Firehouse name, and it's spectacular. We have no added sugars, whole tomatoes, sweetened with sweet potatoes, onions, and carrots, right, as natural sweeteners. So super proud of these two guys. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
no oil, no added sugar. That's important to remind all of you folks. I know that no oil is kind of common sense with Engine 2, but for people that might not know, your pasta sauce is covered with oil, olive oil, extra saturated fat, and sugar. Sugar in your pasta sauce, folks. You don't need it.
No. Next we have, and I just have 2 right here, but we have 4 SKUs of raviolis.
Wow. I have not seen these yet.
Yeah. These are just 2 of them. This is a kale butternut squash ravioli, and then this is just a roasted vegetable. We also have a spinach, a white bean and spinach, and the 4th one right now is eluding me. So you know what? And they're amazing. 100% whole wheat, clean as heck ingredients, and they're ready in 4 minutes. I mean, amazing. And then you put some of that pasta sauce on top.
Unreal.
It's a great little like lunch or quick dinner. We have these burritos that are coming out, right? So you can say, and these are organic. This is a potato and green chili. All right.
Yeah.
This is a bean and veggie medley right there. And then this is a tempeh ranchero. And these are called Squarito burritos. So Squarito, the Engine 2 Squarito burritos. So we're super excited about those. And we're working on all kinds of new stuff too.
I'm telling you right now, you need to do a Facebook contest where people submit videos on saying how fast they can say Squarito burrito.
Squarito burrito.
Yeah, but multiple times, like toy boat, Squarito
burrito. Yeah, we'll do it 10 times.
There you go.
That's funny.
There you go.
I like that a lot.
Well, great. Yeah, and I'm a huge fan of the frozen pizzas. The not the entire pizzas, but the pizza crusts that you guys have out. And the hummus is always a favorite. And there's buns to go along with the burgers that you have, the plant-based burgers.
Yeah, and then you can't forget our assortment. Our varied assortment of cereals. We've got the cold cereals. We've got the Rip's Big Bowl cold cereals. We've got the granolas, and then we've got the hot cereals. We got the Rip's Power Up Bowl hot cereals as well. So we've got your breakfast your breakfast covered there. And then we also have soups. I don't know if you knew that, but we've got a Moroccan stew. We've got a Firehouse chili. We also have a popcorn. We have a no salt, no oil Engine 2 microwavable popcorn. We've got tortillas, frozen ancient grain medleys. Yeah, we're up to about 50 different products now.
Amazing. Congratulations on that, because it's wonderful to not have to worry about it. If you're jumping into this lifestyle, then it can be overwhelming at first if you've never heard of, eating a plant-based diet. What does that mean? Is it vegan? No, it's not vegan. It's plant-based. It's whole food plant-based. That's very, very important, and there's a big difference. Let's talk about that. Look, our vegan friends, they care about the animals, and I think that the vegan movement is very important. I totally sympathize with that. In fact, I'm on board 100%. I care about animals. But the whole food plant based movement, not that we need to separate camps, okay? But for all intents and purposes, Oreos are vegan, okay? So when we talk about healthy foods, foods that are going to fuel our bodies and propel us forward, we're not talking about just vegan foods. We're talking about very specifically whole food plant-based foods. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that, Rip, for people that just might not get that huge connection?
Well, yeah, and it's actually the second pillar of the new book, The 7-Day Rescue, and it has to be more than just plant-based. We want to make sure that it's whole food plant-based. So we want food as close to grown as possible, minimally processed, in its natural state. And when that's the case, like when you're eating a potato or an apple or an orange or, black beans, butter beans, pinto beans, brown rice, quinoa, you're getting the totality of all the nutritional goodness that's there. So the true nutritional deep dive, the true nutritional powerhouse of an engine lives in the whole food. This is where you're going to get all the fiber, all the vitamins, all the minerals, all the phytonutrients, all the antioxidants, all the complex or unprocessed carbohydrates that are our body's primary fuel source. This is where you're going to get all your essential fatty acids. This is where you're going to get your really friendly plant-based proteins. So you get all the macronutrients, the proteins, the fats, and the carbohydrates, and all your micronutrients. These are things that don't have calories, but they're things just like what I said, your vitamins, your minerals, your fiber, your phytonutrients, and your antioxidants. And right now, today, even if you're a junk food vegan, you're stuffing your face and you're starving your body. You're starving your body of all these essential micronutrients and these powerful, healthy macronutrients that are truly only going to be found in whole plant-based foods, whole plant-based goodness. So it's the second pillar for a reason, and it's hugely important. I mean, I can go on and on, Corey, about this, but I mean, right now, we want to be getting 50 to 70 grams of fiber a day. Most Americans are getting somewhere between 5 to 15. Most, junk food vegans, maybe they're getting 20, 25. But if you want to up your game and, totally eliminate any chances that you're going to get, colorectal cancer, that you're going to continue to basically flush out your system of all the toxins, bring down cholesterol levels, continue to give yourself a dynamic and amazing and bulletproof microbiome. We now know that all these things are based upon getting a nice variety and assortment of soluble and insoluble fiber. And fiber only exists in plants, and more than that, whole plant-based foods. Yeah. So, man up, woman up, and start doing whole plant-based foods, and watch your health just transform before your very eyes.
Incredible. We're you got me already. I mean, I'm already on board. So people, you gotta listen to what this man's saying. Check out his book too, 7-Day Rescue Diet, of course. Okay. There, for folks that are having a tough time, for folks that like stuff, handed to them a little bit better. Yeah. There's a meal planner out there, right? Talk to me about this meal planner. I know that our friends, we have some mutual friends over at Lighter, which is kind of powering this meal planner for you. Is that right?
Yep. So we partnered with the Lighter team about a year and a half ago, and we spent a lot of time and energy and resources putting together this meal planner. And for those of you that don't know about it, it basically has got over 1,000 different recipes. And depending upon if you're following the Engine 2 protocol or the 7-Day Rescue protocol, you can put in basically which one you want. And then it will spit out for you, depending upon all your preferences, like how many people are you cooking for? What are you, what do you not like? What do you have allergies to? All your different preferences. What's your time limit? Do you want to spend 10 minutes per meal or less, 15, 20, 30 minutes? And then it will spit out for you for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a whole week, all the different compliant recipes that fit your customized preferences. And it also will self-generate a grocery list based upon those recipes for the week. And if you're in a market that has Instacart, you can actually press a button and then have it delivered right to your doorstep.
Awesome.
I mean, so we're just trying to make this as simple as possible for people. We know that people are busy, they're challenged, they're dropping their kids off at band practice, soccer practice, they're getting home from work at 6 o'clock, and they want to know exactly, what they got to do. And so this meal planner is just another tool. It's just another tool. Another tool is, the 7-day rescue. Learn how to build these bowls, these simple, no recipe, buildable recipes for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and big old salads. And just follow the protocol from the book. If you don't want to buy the book, go to Start Now on engine2.com, and then you can download we have a free 12-page PDF that has these printable, buildable recipes for you using this template. So, it's super, super simple, but you got to dive in and you have to start doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. You've got relationships with, some key partners around here. And one of those was the Amazon relationship. How have you seen that wonderful partnership kind of blossom and benefit Whole Foods Market as a whole?
Well, it's still early on, and the powers that be at Whole Foods and Amazon are still figuring out what that looks like. But I can tell you it's going to help out tremendously with distribution of not only the Whole Foods exclusive brands, the 365 label, but also Engine 2, because for people that don't know, Engine 2 is a Whole Food Market exclusive brand. It's one of their healthiest exclusive brands. It's one of their private labels. And so that also will find distribution out to, into Amazon. And I think that hopefully by January, we'll have the majority of the Engine 2 product line available online. We already have a handful, but it depends upon the market. If you're a Prime member, if you have, Amazon Fresh, all this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It was accessibility for me. I mean, that was the biggest thing, is that so many times in the Engine 2 group, I would see people being like, "Oh, I don't have a Whole Foods. It's too far away from me." So now it can be delivered to your doorstep. You can figure that out and get that taken care of. And I think that's one of the things that made me the happiest. I know prices have dropped on a couple things, which is always good, but and I know John Mackey is still working on that partnership. I mean, Whole Foods is his baby, and he's going to protect it. And thank goodness for that, because that's what keeps the product as stellar as it is. I mean, I love Whole Foods Market. They support me in my blog and my podcast, and I'm in the stores every week here in Central Florida covering the newest products and everything that's out there. So,
well, for any of your listeners that really love Whole Foods and they're looking for a job right now, November 2nd, in just a few days, Whole Foods, they're hiring 6,000 team members across the country. So just go to your closest Whole Food Market store, find out what's available, and, if it works for you, you might get hired and get on board, very, very soon. Awesome. It's a fantastic company to work for. And, they just want to continue to take the customer service to the next level. Not only is Whole Foods all about customer service, but so is Amazon. Price points should continue to come down. And I think that Whole Foods and Amazon will continue to be a disruptive force in this ever-changing landscape when it comes to, people getting healthy, sustainable food.
Heck yeah. Any part of a healthy diet does include moving, and in the book you talk about why we move. And you all have a very specific Fitbit group that I have been just astounded by. Do you know about this? Have you heard about this Fitbit group? And you're
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah,
what
yeah, yeah.
what is
Yeah,
going on?
no,
Talk to me
I
about
know
it.
about well, so we have it's our Seveners group. And we basically, September 1st, we started this challenge to see if we could get people that are part of the 7-day rescue challenge group to start tracking their steps. And our goal is to get 1 billion steps. We want to see how soon we can do it. Right now, as of today, we're at about 140 million steps. And we have about 450 members. So we need to if we had another 500 members, close to 1,000, we could potentially get there by like the end of January, February 1st. But
Wow.
it's crazy, man. People are like just, they're walking their brains off, and it's amazing how many steps people are getting each and every day. And yeah, it's great. But more to that, it's just, the 7th pillar is why we want to move. And even if it's just for 5 minutes a day, movement goes so far to help, brain health, the best antidepressant out there, cardiovascular health, muscular health, right? Bone health, mood health. I just can't say enough good things about exercise. This morning, for example, the last thing I want to do was wake up at 5:45 and go for a swim, but I dragged my sorry butt out of bed, right, in the chilly 45-degree Austin weather. And I went to this outdoor pool with this master's group, and I swam for about 40 minutes. I swam a little over 2,000 yards, and then I came home. I took my kids to school, came back home, and then biked into work, which is about 30 minutes each way. It's a little over 8 miles. But, I get to work, I'm pumped up, I'm motivated, I'm not stressed out, I haven't been fighting traffic, and it takes me almost the same amount of time to drive into work and drive home than it does to bike. So figure out what works in your life, right? Can you commute on your bike? Is it safe? Can you figure out a way to walk your dog around the block a couple times? Can you wake up and find a partner that you can go for a jog with, a run with, whatever, a walk with? I find accountability is really, really important when it comes to working out, but you won't regret it. And man, we were meant to move these bodies big time.
Yep. There's two very specific things I want to talk about, and then I want you to share kind of an inspirational story that is close to your heart, a transformative story of someone.
I'd love to. I'd love to.
We'll get to it in a second.
I was hoping you'd ask me about that.
I want to end on
know.
that. I want to end
Okay.
on that. Okay,
All
so
right.
the biggest question that anyone on a plant-based diet ever gets asked is, where do you get your protein, right? So just, we could talk about this for 2 hours. We could have a whole show about it, but I do want to talk about how much protein we actually need, because I think there's a lot of misinformation out there about that. So can you help clear that up for us? In the book, it talks about this kid that you met that was working out, trying to bulk up, right? And you said, oh, that's great. What's your diet? And he says he's eating eggs, bacon, steak, and a hamburger. And he just about fell over, feeling bad for his arteries. But talk to me about how much protein the body actually needs. And if you're trying to bulk up, what do you do? I mean, maybe not just the bulking up, but very specifically just the protein. How much do we really need, Rip?
We need a lot less than anybody thinks. A lot less. So like according to the World Health Organization, we want to get somewhere between 5 to 10% of our calories from protein. The reality is that 10% is kind of the high end, and that's with a built-in safety margin for athletes and for pregnant women. But any more than that, and really what you're doing is you're either peeing it away or you're storing it as fat. And your average American is consuming between 20 to 25% of their calories from protein. And it's the wrong kind of protein, right? It's animal protein that is of the composition and proportion of the essential amino acids that's wreaking havoc on our bodies. So it's basically siphoning calcium from our bones to buffer the acid load from these highly acidic amino acids. It's raising cholesterol levels. It's actually promoting tumors and cancers. And it's also incredibly harsh on our organs, specifically the kidneys and the liver. Whereas you look at plant-based proteins that are super, super duper friendly, they don't do any of these things. They're not bashing your kidneys. They're not bashing your liver. They're not siphoning calcium from your bones. They're not promoting tumors and cancers. They're not raising your cholesterol levels. They're like the Goldilocks of protein, right? They're like the perfect amount of protein. And the good news here is that with plant-based proteins, you're not gonna you can't blow it. You can't like somehow come under your requirements because protein is in every plant-based food. It's in the carrots, it's in the broccoli, it's in the spinach, it's in the beans, it's in the rice, it's in the it's in the honeydew melon, it's in the strawberries at the perfect amount. So your average bean is about 25% protein, way more than we need, right? Your average green leafy vegetable, 35 to 50% protein, depending upon if it's kale or spinach, 35 or 50. Your average intact whole grain, about 14% protein. Quinoa on the high end is about 18. On the low end, you got brown rice that's hovering around 10%, right where you need to be. Your average potato, like your average sweet potato, right around 9% protein. So you could literally live on sweet potatoes for the rest of your life, and you get all the vitamins, all the minerals, all the protein, right? All the fat, everything you need. And so just like there's plenty of oxygen in the air that we're breathing right now, Corey, right? 21%, right? As a firefighter, I know that. Air is 21% oxygen, 79% nitrogen. But nobody's going, oh my God, am I getting the perfect amount of oxygen? Like, am I getting all I need? No, you just know you're breathing and you're doing fine. All you got to do is eat a whole food plant-based diet and don't even worry about it. Just know that everything has all the protein you need in the perfect balance, the perfect proportion, and it's as friendly as you can get. Awesome. Right? Remember, the Goldilocks. So don't sweat it. There's no such thing as protein deficiency. It's a distraction. It's a red herring. It's like it's driving everybody in our space bonkers because this thing has been like debunked 50, 60, 70 years ago.
Yep. Same thing about oil. I saw a picture as I was walking down the street from, I don't know, it was a place called The Olive or something like that. I don't know if that was the actual name of the business, but it said oil is, and this is going to kill you, heart healthy. And it just couldn't be further from the truth, guys. And I'm going to let Rip tell you exactly why. Rip, there's saturated fat and there's healthy fat, but oil is not the place to get either one of those. Talk to me about oil just real quick. I know, again, we could go on for hours.
Yeah. So remember, one of the first questions you asked me, Corey, is we want to make sure we're following pillar number 2, which is why we want to eat a whole food plant-based diet. So we're getting all the vitamins, the minerals, the phytonutrients, the antioxidants, the fiber, all these things. You could not pick a more processed, refined food on the planet than oils. Any oil, right? Coconut, olive, canola, safflower, sunflower, flax, walnut, you name it. And all these oils are 120 calories a tablespoon, right? The most concentrated source of calories, fat, and malnutrition that exist on the planet today. Don't fall for it, right? It takes 36 olives that you have to basically squeeze to get 1 tablespoon of olive oil. That's how much fat you're basically consuming. And now you're getting rid of any of the nutritional integrity that used to be there in the whole olive. No fiber, no water, phytonutrients, antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, carbohydrates, protein. It's all gone. All you have is 100% fat. So this is this epitomizes the triumph of marketing over science, Corey and your listeners. And so let's get our fats, our essential fatty acids, from the whole food. So just like I said about protein, if you're eating a whole food plant-based diet, you're going to be getting all the fat you need from the plants, right? Oatmeal is 16% fat. As we talked about earlier, tofu and tempeh are 40% fat. Brown rice is right around 3% fat. Potatoes, 4% fat. Strawberries, 6-7% fat. Green leafies, 11% fat. Nuts and seeds, 80% fat. Olives, 90% fat. Avocados, 80 to 90% fat. So you cannot, ground flaxseed meal that we're a fan of, ground flaxseed meal, 80, 90% fat. Chia seeds, 80, 90% fat. But we want to take some of those, about a tablespoon or two a day, because they're so fantastic. They're so strong with the omega-3 fatty acids, right? That are very anti-inflammatory in nature. So anyway, you got me going on oil, but yeah, we don't want to go near any oil. Don't need it. Does nobody any good.
Good. All right, folks. If you want to have answers to these and other questions, check out the book. Again, here it is, The 7-Day Rescue Diet. You want to go check it out. It's been out for a long time now, but you got to go check it. You want to find out why you shouldn't be drinking your food, why you don't need a multivitamin in your life, then this is the book for you. Go check it out. All right, Rip, we're coming to the end here. It's time for your inspirational story. I want you to share one. Now, we have a mutual friend, Adam Sudd. I don't know if that's your inspirational story, but if you don't know who Adam Sudd is, plant-based addict, you need to go look him up. Him and his brother are just incredible, dear friend of the show, past guest, and amazing. But I want you to share a story with us, Rip, that has come across your computer or your desk from maybe someone who's been in this world.
Well, I get a lot of them. And the one I'll share with you today, Corey, his name's Ken Lander. Ken is from Costa Rica, but he also has he has a coffee plantation there. He's in the coffee business. And a guy that I play poker with, Texas No Limit, Hold'em, poker, is in the tea business. And so somehow or another, they started talking, and this guy, Ken Lander, was 420 odd pounds, not healthy. His heart was really problematic. He'd already had one stent, and his heart was working at about 20% of capacity when it comes to basically getting the blood out of the heart. And so this guy, my buddy John Cullicutt, said, "Hey Ken, you should check out Rip's work, his father's work." And so lo and behold, this guy out of the blue gives me a call. And this was like January 1st, 2017. And he says, "Hey, Rip, I just want to let you know that, got your name from John, and, I'm ready for a change. I need to get after it." And I said, "All right, fantastic. This is what you want to do." And I told him all about the 7-day, rescue program. I told him about my father's work. I said, "You need to get a copy of my dad's book, Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease, so you can understand exactly what's going on here and the endothelial cells and nitric oxide and how you want to bring those endothelial cells back to life." And this guy was the epitome of compliance, Corey. And he went back to see his doctor 4 months later. And the doctor was, doing his exam and, doing the ultrasound and all this stuff and measuring the ejection fraction that was coming out of his heart. And he said, "You know what? Can you wait a second? I've got another patient I need to see, but I'll be right back." And he's like all worried, thinking, "Oh my God, I'm a mess." And the doctor came back and he said, "I need to ask you a question, and I mean this seriously. Have you gotten a heart transplant?" Because his heart was so it was enlarged. It wasn't like, it wasn't, ejecting blood. And now it was almost 100% normal. It had gone back down to its normal size. And to boot, he'd lost about 80, 85 pounds. So I had him come to PlantStock. It's one of our success stories this year. This was in August. He was down 112 pounds, right? Fantastic story. We've invited him to Plant Stock 2018 to share it again. I talked to him last week, and he's now down 150 pounds. He just had his latest appointment with his doctor. His doctor is so blown away that he wants to get my father and I down to Costa Rica to talk to all the cardiologists in Costa Rica about this, because he's never seen a reversal like this, right, in his whole career. And his heart now is functioning at 100%, no known, problems whatsoever. And so anyway, it's insane. No medications anymore, nothing for high blood pressure, nothing for no statins for high cholesterol, all these things. So yeah, Ken Lander, man, amazing story.
Once you have that, and you've gone, 420 pounds to that quick of a weight loss.
250 now. Yeah.
Don't you have to be scared about the arteries, and if there was a blockage, it freeing up or something when the arteries start to clear up, something breaking off or anything like that? Is that why you do it under a doctor's supervision, or is there anything you need to be worried about? Because the weight does, melt off and things get super healthy really quick, but where does it go? Does your body just absorb it? Like the plaque in the arteries?
Well, as far as the plaque in the arteries, those, Ken's young enough to where he probably is able to metabolize away the fatty lesions, the cholesterol, and some of those things. Now, when it comes to calcification, you can't metabolize away calcification. That's basically like, that's like, those are hardened almost like bone that you can't get rid of. But no, to me, no, there's no danger in eating this way as far as, something breaking off and a clot or something like that. No, it's basically like, think of it as, maybe a scab or a wound that you have on your arm. And by eating this way, it's just accelerating the healing of that wound. Whereas when you're eating the standard American diet, you got that wound, and then every day you're basically scraping it, and it can't ever heal. It wants to heal, but it can't heal. And now you're removing the offending food groups, and now you're only introducing all these healing, restorative food groups. And now, right, the lining of your arteries, 65,000 miles of arteries, blood vessels, capillaries, arteries, can heal, and they basically, get rid of that unnecessary cholesterol, fatty lesions, and before you know it, man, your that inner lining of your arteries, the endothelial cells, are now pumping out nitric oxide. Your vessels are becoming youthful and elastic again instead of being brittle and hardened. So, yeah, it's pretty miraculous, Corey.
Amazing. Well, folks, engine2diet.com is the website. That's where you want to go. It's kind of your one-stop shop for everything that is Engine 2. You can learn about the products. You can learn about the rescue group. You can learn about everything going on, the events they have, all that stuff.
We got a new book coming out too.
No way! Look at that.
We got the Engine 2
recipes, huh?
The Engine 2 cookbook's coming out December 26th.
Amazing.
135 recipes, full photos.
Wow.
90% of the recipes, full page photos. It's our first official cookbook, right? Larger in size, beautifully done. And I did it with my sister Jane. It's great.
Amazing. Can't wait. You'll see a review on it on this website, Lean Green Dad. So make sure you go check that out. But guys, if you need the show notes, you can find us over at leangreendad.com. You'll find the show notes of everything we mentioned in our episode here, including the resources and some of the names we dropped. But hey, Rip, until next time, thanks, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Corey. Peace. Engine 2, keep it plant strong.